I have calls at like even at 2 a.m. in the morning and then at 9 a.m. So while I'm developing investment thesis at one day, I might be analyzing startups to create an investable pipeline for the fund the next day. So it's not that one day you are gonna sit for directly sit for like OCC business game and you're gonna be in the finalist. ऐसा नहीं होता है मतलब कुछ भी.
क्या आपको भी कंसल्टिंग, प्राइवेट इक्विटी, फाइनेंस एक्सेट्रा की टॉप कंपनीज में इंटर्नशिप या प्लेसमेंट चाहिए, या फिर आप भी नेशनल या इंटरनेशनल फाइनेंस कॉम्पिटिशन्स जीतना चाहते हैं? Stay tuned for today's session. Hello folks, welcome to the series named The Placement Guide, where we help students to know about the hiring processes of their dream companies and different career opportunities. Today, we have a very special guest amongst us whose name is Pranaydeep Chauhan. He is currently doing a private equity internship at Everstone Group and is a BITS Pilani student. He was the first consulting undergraduate intern at Alvarez and Marsal and has also done other internships at Kearney, INSEAD, IIM Ahmedabad, and many more. He was also the Global Finalist at Global Investment Banking Valuation Olympiad 2021 held in London, and was also the Global Finalist in various business case competitions. This is truly very amazing profile, Pranadeep.
Thanks, man. It means a lot coming from you, Mandar.
Thank you so much for accepting our invitation and coming up to this show. Before we proceed, do like and share this video. Also, don't forget to subscribe the channel for more such videos. Let's deep dive into your journey, Pranadeep.
Okay.
So, coming from an engineering electrical branch, how did you develop your interest towards consulting and finance space?
Okay, so it was not that कि मैंने first thing consulting चुना और मेरे को उसमें interest आ गया. In my first year, I became fascinated with backend development and spent most of my initial college days making websites. But after self-exploration, I realized how coding was just a tool and my genuine interest lay in problem solving. So I started exploring various opportunities on campus and started participating in case competitions at a national and international level. While it was a great experience, I wanted to learn more about interacting with customers and how these product requirements were actually created. And consulting turned out to be a natural match.
Yeah, that seems really great journey. What is your biggest learning from BITS Pilani experience till now?
So, it might be slightly controversial to say, but in my opinion, anyone can work hard. It's more about the guidance. Like mentors are the key to success. Like for particularly me, I feel कि जो भी मेरे को achievement मिली है, it's just because of my mentors and their guidance.
Yeah, that's very true. Getting a good guidance at an early stage really helps a lot. It helps us to move in the right direction with the right resources in comparison to if someone gets a little later.
Yeah, exactly.
So how was your work role at Everstone Group as a private equity intern?
So it is a really great place to work at. Like I really get to create the kind of impact that I wanted to create. Working hours can be slightly bit tricky. Like for the first 2 weeks, I used to work even on the weekends because it was an urgent deal, and I have calls at like even at 2 a.m. in the morning and then at 9 a.m. So things like these happen, but then you sort of learn to manage these things. But yeah, overall, it is a very great experience. While I'm developing investment thesis at one day, I might be analyzing startups to create an investable pipeline for the fund the next day. So there are various kind of opportunities that are given to me. So I really like it.
Yeah, that would be really an amazing experience there, and it was truly very uh, like a hustle culture. Like you were saying, for initial weeks, it was really very long hours, but I hope it would be a very great learning experience.
Yeah, it's a great learning experience. That's for sure.
So how did you prepare for the private equity internship interviews?
So to be very honest, it was more like I had done a minor in finance. So I had learned about the basics of valuation in a course called Business Analysis and Valuation the last sem. I started learning more about the valuation models, TCF models, and I also got introduced to the field of debt financing, particularly leveraged buyouts. So the major questions that are asked in private equity interviews are leverage buyouts, basics of valuation, and some resume questions to see the fit.
And can you also tell about how did you prepare for consulting internship interviews as per your experience at Kearney and A&M?
So I used to regularly practice cases with my friends, participate in case competitions, and work in real life cases at 180 DC, BPCC, and Impact Consulting. I believe some of the good resources that one can go through are like CI's case interviews cracked day one, and then there's a YouTube channel of Aditya Agarwal. These three are like my favorite sources.
Yeah, very true. Learning from actually solving cases through case competitions and through 180 DC and others would give a very nice practical experience into problem solving.
Yes.
So, how was your work role there as a consulting intern at A&M?
So it was a really great experience. It was alongside my semester. It was alongside my sixth semester. So I was managing academics on one hand while managing the college activities because our college had been closed for over an year due to the lockdown. So काफी ज़्यादा मुश्किल तो हो गया था, but yeah, I learned a lot about the various fields. Like मेरे को cloud computing के बारे में पढ़ना पड़ा, cyber security के बारे में पढ़ना पड़ा, data science and migration का work plan create किया, directly working alongside the CIO's office. I worked on making partnerships for one of the tool for the client. So it gave me a really holistic experience.
Yeah, true. You got to learn a lot of things related to computer science as well, apart from the typical consulting work.
Yes. So that's the best part about consulting, right? You always learn every day, learn about new things which you are not even imagining. One day you might be learning about servers, the second day you might be learning about some FMCG company, third day you might be learning about about something totally different.
Yeah, that's the best part of consulting. One gets to know about different sectors and they never get bored. Like every time it's something very different and they get to enjoy that process in comparison to few other jobs where it might become quite monotonous after some time.
Yes, that's one of the things why I chose consulting. I was not very fixated on one particular type of field at such a nascent stage of my career. So I picked up consulting just for the reason that it would provide me an opportunity to work across multiple sectors and multiple problem statements even among those sectors.
So, what is your biggest learning from consulting internship at Alvarez and Marsal and at Kearney?
So I feel my biggest learning would be that you have to take on projects. Both at A&M and at Kearney, I was assigned to one project, but I did that project. I used to ask my managers that please give me some more work, please give me some more. And finally, I did six projects at Kearney and six projects at A&M. So it's more about like you taking up the work. Like if you're not doing the work, they'll be more than happy to take that one project over the span of 3 months. But it's just your learning, so you have to take the first step.
Yeah, completely agree. Doing something extra helps us to get up to a long way and also getting out of one's comfort zone. Like you described, you did six projects at each place instead of someone who may do just one or two over the whole duration.
Yes.
So, how was your work role at research internship at INSEAD?
So it basically revolved around reviewing research papers for the professor. Secondly, I built a Python script that built a data set of about 500 to 1,000 entrepreneurship and VC clubs. We were gonna reach out to them and learn more about their experience and what do they feel about one of the things that we were trying to do in one of our research papers.
Yeah, that seems an amazing experience by working with one of the world's top MBA college.
Yeah, it was a really good experience.
So what type of questions were asked in the shortlisting process for it?
So exactly shortlist नहीं होता है यार मतलब NC मतलब you write cold mails to the professors. I had mentioned that I want to continue on one particular research paper that he was working on. So I gave some advice regarding that. So वो क्या बोलते हैं when we had the interview, the whole interview revolved around that only, like how are we gonna continue this research paper, and like he was asking how much well knowledgeable I am in the terms of that previous research paper that he had wrote in the same field.
Yeah, that's a very nice way to approach for research internship at various colleges, like by going through their research papers and like advising them some suggestions and then discussing it with them.
Yes.
So can you tell about different stages at Global Investment Banking Valuation Olympiad?
So it is a three-stage valuation Olympiad. First stage is a quiz where half of the questions are MCQ based and half of the questions are subjective based. Then in the second round, you have to create a M&A study you have to create an investment thesis for a potential M&A deal in the European region. And like the top 10 teams are invited to London to present those 10 deals to the वो क्या बोलते हैं judges, and then the final person get a hefty prize of, I don't know, maybe 10 lakh or something around that. I don't know.
Yeah, that seems really amazing work process there at this Olympiad, comprising of the three stages as you mentioned. So how did you prepare for this competition and eventually reached to the World Finalist?
So to be very honest, I would again like to say that it was more because of the subjects that I had studied in for completing my minor in finance. I had taken various subjects like security analysis and portfolio management, business analysis and valuation, derivatives and risk management, financial risk analytics and management. So these kind of topics gave me a very holistic view around the finance, and like I wanted to study more about these. One of my teammates had an economics background, so that also really helped to us.
So can you tell about the general stages of different global business game competitions that you participated?
So in all of these business games, mostly the first round is regarding an aptitude test combined with a resume shortlist. In HEC business game, to be specific, we had to create a GTM strategy for one of the FMCG company to enter Europe. So yeah, it can be a mix of both. You might be have to creating GTM strategies, or you might be have to submitting just resumes and aptitude tests.
So being global finalist in various business case competitions, how did you prepare for them?
So I had started participating in national case competitions from my first year itself. It was not a easy journey. In my first year, I never became even a national finalist. In second year, I became a national finalist in 2 or 3 competitions. I came fourth in one of them. Then I started participating in international case competitions, and then maybe out of the 15 that I applied, I became a national finalist in 6 or 7 of them. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it seemed it was a very gradual process and a stepwise manner like you described.
Yes, it's not that one day you are gonna sit for directly sit for like GC business game and you're gonna be in the finalist. ऐसा ऐसा नहीं होता है मतलब कुछ भी.
So can you tell some resources which were helpful to you to develop your both consulting and finance skills?
So for consulting, as I had mentioned before, case interviews cracked, day one, Aditya Agarwal, these three are the best resources. But if you want to create a more structural thinking and want to go one step ahead, you can do casebooks of ISB, IMA, IMB for the last 2 years. Then you can also look at the international casebooks of maybe Duke and NYU. Those are also very impressive.
And some resources related to finance?
So for finance, I never studied something outside of the courses. I only studied like my finance courses which were taught in the college. Nothing apart from that.
And any last message that you would like to give to all our viewers who also wanted to make their career into either consulting or finance space?
So I would like to say one thing, yeah, matlab, don't fret too much about the CG. It's definitely a very big part of your shortlisting process, but it's not just about the CG. If you are really smart, if you are putting in the efforts, the company will see that one day that you have put in the efforts, that you have done the right internships, that you have the required set of PORs, that you have worked in a lot of case competitions, and they will give you a short list. CG is not a very major barrier.
Yeah, that's a very big misconception to most of the students. Like many students try to over focus on the CG part in comparison to developing the right skills and experiences related to consulting and finance.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Pranaydeep, for taking out your time to share your learnings and experiences. It would be really very helpful to a lot of the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Madhav.